And the first one.
So you never saw. So you never saw a Model T or Model A.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm asking. What's the oldest? What's the oldest car you ever saw? That's what I'm saying.
That car.
No, I mean, did you? I say, did you see a Model A or a Model T? Those are the oldest cars, right? Aren't they? I mean,
yeah. We had one and Bubba drove.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Without shoes.
Isn't that what I'm saying?
We go down to my grandmother's.
That's what I'm saying. What's the oldest car you remember seeing? So you saw one of the first cars ever made.
I can't tell you the model number, but.
Well, you said you had a Model T.
Well, yeah, and we wound
That's the oldest car. Isn't Model T? Wasn't that the first one that Ford made? I mean, that's the first car that Ford made, right? The first production car. That's what I meant.
I think
that's pretty remarkable.
Shreveport in that Uncle Fletcher had that we had that little accident, and that was it wasn't a Ford. It was a really nice car, like a Chrysler.
But Mother, you understand the significance of having personally seen a Model T when they were really cars that people were driving around. I mean, that's pretty significant. I mean, it's like I can say I had the first CD player or whatever, you know.
Mother was probably the first.
That's pretty neat,
one of the first women that drove them all over town.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of neat, you know. It's like having the first phone or the first whatever, you know. Now, speaking of phones, did you have, you know...
We had the phone that you talked to the operator.
Yeah, right. Say, and you'd say, call Sam.
Give me 45 or 5 or something.
So you wouldn't say the person's name?
And Mother would talk and laugh.
You wouldn't say the person's name, like give me, like on the Andy Griffith show, he'd call and say, connect me to Sarah or connect me to...
Give me Miss Wheats.
Oh, you would? Yes. Isn't that funny? That's hilarious. I mean, you know, when you think about it, it's so foreign to us.
We saw that, where was that?
The Andy Griffith show.
When I lived at Little Mama's before I went to Okinawa.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
With Dom as a baby, I had an apartment there. I was going to Okinawa. And Little Mama's, I called her Little Mama. She was Pennington's grandparent. Anyway, she was my aunt. She had one of those phones you had to ring like that.
Yeah, ring. Yeah, to get the operator to respond, right?
And that was the only phone we had in the whole house, even though I had an apartment.
Yeah.
But I could go in there and use her phone.
Yeah.
And
now, if you there would be one operator for the town, and then there'd be another one another town.
Actually, it was Mother even worked in when she was just high school senior or just graduated something. She worked at the telephone office one summer or something.
So telephone technology didn't change much for about 10 or 15 years.
There was one woman, they had a house, and that's where the central thing was, you know, where all the
switches. Yeah, switches, yeah.
It was a house, and this woman with her mother lived there, and her son, and I went to school with Billy. He was in my grade. And she ran that phone office for years and years and years.
Just think how simple that was. So if one person called into the operator would take that plug from your thing, and she'd pull the plug out and plug it into the hole for the person to the other house, right? So that meant, of course, you know, when they hung up, you guess she pulled both plugs out, I guess.
Like when I told you, it was exciting. When we went to Shreveport, we stayed at this beautiful hotel, and they had goldfish. I'll never forget. They had a big pond down in the lobby. I mean, think of a little country girl, you know, back from Woodville. We had to drive all the way there. And all this, had a fish pond, and Mother and Daddy let me go down and sit on the edge and watch the goldfish. I'd never seen goldfish before.
Yeah, goldfish or koi? Were they koi, maybe?
No, I don't know.
Were they gigantic?
No.
Oh, okay.
But we had some that were in our fish pond.
Yeah.
And,
well, do you remember when they came? I mean, I hate to keep asking you history questions, but do you remember when they came out with a rotary dial type of thing? Or
sure.
I mean, when was that? Do you remember what year that might have been?
Well, I know I had one when I was working in the office, and I was...
Oh, you did? Yeah. So now you didn't have to talk to the operator anymore, right? No more operator. Did you think that was remarkable? I mean, like, this is pretty remarkable, right?
Particularly.
Oh, you didn't think that was...
From one to the other, you know.
You didn't think that was pretty amazing to not have to talk to Sarah, the operator, anymore? To me, that would have been an incredible thing.
You could, if you wanted to talk.
Well, of course, yeah. Actually, yeah, that went away. Well, sure. Well, we dialed O for operator for all of my life, but then finally, what has it been, 20 years ago, they finally No more. Now you can't push O for operator anymore. You can't get help anymore, you know. So
I know, operators don't
forget
have
that.
any more job.
I love that because if you really had a problem, you just dialed O, and then and you tell her the number, and she'd help you. She'd help you out. Dial the number. She could break into the line, right? Remember that? Yeah, break into the line and say, "Excuse me, I know you're having this call, but
an emergency call.
that was good, huh?"
Miss Lucy, I'm sorry, but your husband. Oh,
Yeah, that was very handy.
Once, I think.
Very handy.
It seems to me we were coming from somewhere, and
There was a
Pennington's
fire,
got a
who knows?
message.
Yeah, you have emergency call.
Yeah, that was
You
very
have a collect
handy.
call.
Or collect call.
And
Yeah, collect call.
Everybody knew what was going on
Yeah.
in town, and certainly the operators did. They knew everything that went on town because she could listen in to your calls.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, she'd listen in and she'd even talk sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have that recipe if you
Well,
need it.
wouldn't she be busy getting someone else's call or something?
In a
Maybe
little
when
town
she's
like
busy.
Woodville.
Yeah.
She's not
Oh, yeah. So I bet the operator was the person that knew all the dirt, you know, all the
gossip.
She knew all of that.
everything. She'd say, "Well, you know, I heard that Martin
She
just
and the
called
deputy-
Susie, and I don't know
She
what
and
it was
the
about."
deputy
But
sheriff knew everything. The deputy sheriff was on duty at night,
Yeah.
and he said the stories that I could tell you.
really, huh? Mm.
He was one of our neighbors.
Life was simple, but it was very
Well-
interesting then. Everybody knew everybody, and everybody knew what everybody else was doing, and everything else, you know.
And they were doing all the things that people do, like some husband was out with somebody else's wife and all that sort of thing.
And of course you had radio, right?
Oh, yeah,
But
we had,
no TV,
our
right?
first
Yeah, still?
radio was so exciting. Now, Clyde said theirs was too. Daddy bought, great big
Yeah,
radio
console
and
thing.
delivering it and getting it in the house. And he invited all of his friends and everybody came in and we all sat around the radio and listened. And especially at night when the news came on, and we had news
Of course.
then too. But sometimes I don't think the radio even came on till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, it wouldn't even come on? You mean there wasn't anything during the
I
day?
don't think in the morning sometimes it wasn't. And it was static. Oh, you just
Oh, it
horrible.
was
Sometimes
staticky?
you could hardly hear it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, really, a lot of static. But then by the time when I was working, first thing I bought was myself a radio.
You mean a portable radio?
Yeah,
Oh.
portable radio.
Oh, so
And I bought Mother a Mixmaster, and I bought me I had a bed light and I bought a portable radio. And Daddy would say, "You better go to sleep in there." And I'd say, "Yes, sir." And I put my radio under the cover.
Oh, yeah.
So I could
Yeah.
listen to the hit parade or whatever.
Now, how much, again, just history, how much was a portable radio, if you remember? I mean, was it $5, $2,
No.
$1, 50
I
cents?
had to pay it off. And,
Pay it off.
I
Yeah.
didn't just go give them $5. I think
So it was a big investment. Ooh,
$30 or something. And I had to
$30.
give them $5 a week or something.
good night. For probably AM radio or something. Wow.
5.30, I don't know.
Wow. But you loved that. I know you
Oh,
loved
I
radio.
loved it.
And books, of course.
It was my.
Now, where'd you get most of your books that you like? Because you love
Well,
to
we
read.
didn't have a library, like at.
In
we had-
Woodville?
Finally had one at school, and I got to be the librarian.
Oh, yeah, that
which
was
I
your,
loved.
yeah.
And then there was a woman, there were several people in town that
What are
liked
you
to
doing?
read like I did,
Oh, and there's scar itches.
that I do, and so everybody, when they had good books, we'd trade. And you promised to take good care of them and everything, but boy, you had to give them back. You couldn't keep them, and then finally, we had a library at school. And then I had an English teacher that lived in Beaumont, and she knew how I loved to read, and I was going through a phase where I just loved short stories, so she'd bring me books from the Beaumont Library. She was so sweet. She's real young, and her parents lived in Beaumont, so
It was
she'd go home.
32 miles, about
She'd
32
go home
miles
every
southeast.
weekend. No, it's 55 miles.
Oh, I thought it was 32.
Exactly 55.
Oh, okay, good.
And she would go home every weekend and go to the library and bring me a stack of books back. She was so nice to do that because
Yeah.
I just craved reading.
Hmm.
And just to have something to read, I'd just go crazy. I'd borrow magazines from the Penningtons and
Why do you think you liked reading so much more than your other
I don't
friends?
know.
Or I mean,
But Bubba and I both did.
oh, he liked to read too.
He had his side of the fireplace with his bookcase, the other side was mine. And on Christmas, we both got books.
You know, you don't. Another dumb question: did they have comic books? Did you like comic books as a kid? Didn't they have?
We had a little bit of.
Superman or something, or
He was like Superman.
Flash Gordon, or
Yeah, Flash Gordon.
yeah.
In the it was in the newspaper.
Oh, it wasn't. They didn't have separate.
And on Sunday, there was colored.
Yeah, but not. They didn't have separate comic books.
Not books.
Oh.
And the kids did.
Well, they must have come out in the 40s, didn't they? Though they probably came out in the 40s when you were. Yeah, you were already 20 years old by then. So.
But.
Well, what was the first big?
Was the biggest problem for me was keeping enough stuff to read.
Yeah. What was the first big? What do you think was? I mean, like for me, I guess I'd have to say, you know, that the computer, you know, period, the invention of the computer during my lifetime, I guess, really was the big thing. What do you think was the biggest innovation in your lifetime? And you know, in your as a kid.
Flying.
Oh, you thought that was? Oh yeah, so.
I was just enthralled with it.
Thought that was me.
I would have tried to be a stewardess if I had been nearsighted, for sure. That's what I was
Really?
going to do.
You thought that'd be great.
I talked more boys into being pilots. I've got a picture of this boy in my trunk at home that I was dating him the same time I was dating Clyde. And I know I talked him into
being a pilot.
And he buzzed my house twice
Oh,
after
really?
I was married, I will say.
Hmm.
I believe once at least was after I was married.
So you didn't think that being a pilot, you didn't think you might be a pilot?
Oh, yeah. No, I would have given anything to be a pilot.
Oh, yeah. So
They had planes that would come in and they land in the back pastures back there and give people rides for a
oh,
dollar
yeah?
or something.
Oh, yeah?
Bubba wouldn't have gone.
Really?
No, you couldn't pay him to go.
Good
And
heavens.
I just drove Daddy crazy until he let me fly.
Oh, so you did get to do that?
Yeah,
Oh.
I sat in an open cockpit.
Really? Well, you
in
never
the
told me
sky.
that. I never heard
Oh,
that.
yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I loved it. Are
Well,
you
yeah.
kidding?
Well, I guess.
That's when I wanted so much to be a.
Didn't they have a stick back
As
there?
blind as I was, I never get to be, but
Didn't they have a stick or something
yeah,
back
he
there?
was in the back seat in this particular plane. I was in the front.
So did they have a stick that you could? Did he let you fly? He didn't let you fly.
No, I'm like, 8 years old.
Oh, you were that young. I didn't know how old were you. So you were really young.
Yeah, the first time I flew.
How many times did you do that?
Oh, I did that probably at least twice. And then let's see, when did I get to fly again?
Thought you were.
I know that Otis was going to take me up, actually, the guy that buzzed my house, and we had a date. He had it all set up. We were going to Beaumont, and he was going to take me up. And something happened, I forget, and we didn't get to go.
Yeah.
And,
Well, now this begs the question.
I'll show you his picture sometimes. He is really cute.
Well, he's
He was.
pushing up daisies now. I'm sure.
I was so
He's still alive?
I don't know.
I'm sure not.
My brother made me so